All right, welcome to Rubber Stamp Story Time. I don't know what else to call this, but I thought I would cut out some rubber here. This is the Watermill Large. There's some flock here, a couple of the horsebacks here, and some Stampscape buy stamps. I just kind of use this as a little bit of a filler here. There's a little palm tree. This says Stampscaped buy there. It's one of those things that you stamp on the back of your envelope. There's 3 of them here. And you can put your name or whatever, Stampscape by Kevin, you know. And I don't know, I should send these out. I'll send these out. I don't know, there's 15 of them here. I'll send one of these out with the next 15 orders received. But for free. I thought I would trim this rubber and tell this story before I forget it, because it's already 20 years old. And I don't have a great memory, but this story stands out to me because of the longevity of kind of where this story originated, the frustrations that were felt, and just the amount of time I had to kind of devote to it back then, okay? All right, so a little bit of background. 20 years ago or so, I don't remember the exact dates of this, but the internet, became big. And, it was going on with things like AOL and Prodigy before that and whatnot. But, the different incarnations took on an entirely different meaning to all sectors of society and whatnot, where it came into play with things like rubber stamping, or things like eBay, okay? And Stampscapes has always been carried in stores and whatnot. Primarily, that was how you purchased your stamps back then. Okay, you were purchasing them at stores, retail storefronts and whatnot. I don't remember when I started our online store, but I don't think it was 20. It definitely wasn't 20 years ago, okay? Okay, so eBay is around, all right? And I used to kind of keep track of, I don't know, just sales, but mostly out of curiosity, because I would screen those that were buying wholesale from us. When you're selling wholesale, you're setting your margins at such a price where stores can carry the stamps and remain in business by selling it, right? But then you had places like eBay, okay? And you had to kind of watch out for individuals that were buying or submitting for wholesale purchasing under the guise that they're a store. A lot of people just wanted to buy at half price, or, and if you had a minimum of like 2 stamps per design, as a requirement, a lot of people might, under the guise of having a store or selling stamps in a storefront situation, just buy that stamp and then, or that image, buy 2 of them, and then they would just slap the other one up on eBay or something like that, okay? So I was kind of watching for that, and just being curious to know what the stamps were reselling for on eBay. A lot of them were selling for more than retail. I don't know, I guess people got in the spirit of just that bidding war type of thing. Okay? But, alright, fast track forward. Just keeping track of that, I noticed this one seller was selling a lot of brand new Stampscapes, okay? And a grouping of them. I thought, man, someone just buying stamps like crazy, or whatever, all kinds of different stamps, and just, I don't know, turning around and selling them on eBay, just auctioning them off. And I just figured it was just someone just buying the stuff, or they got it from somewhere, and just, I don't know, was just into buying things, okay? So they wanted to recoup some of their money, and was auctioning them off on eBay. Like I said, sometimes people would make a lot more than what they purchased them for, just because people got into the spirit of bidding or something like that. Okay? All right. But I had watched this seller. No, I wasn't watching them at the time. I think I just put the parameters on eBay to notify me anytime someone was selling Stampscapes. And it was easy because Stampscapes isn't a word, so if anyone says Stampscapes in an auction, I'm going to know about it, and it's going to be, these stamps right here. It's not like landscape stamps or something like that, where it could be any number of companies or whatnot. So Stampscapes is pretty specific. So I always knew when they were selling stamps. I'm not spying on them or anything like that. If someone's listing things, you want, if you want them to, you want people who are interested in your auctions to find you, Otherwise, there's no other way for them to find them. So some people might just put rubber stamps or something like that, and they're going to get a notification for any time someone lists any rubber stamps for sale, okay? All right, so anyways, I'm watching this, and this person is listing like big groupings, again, of brand new, unused Stampscapes, okay? So I looked at their other auctions, and this person was really kind of knowledgeable of all of the latest stamps supplies in the entire industry, because they were selling things that were just released and big groupings of them, okay? It started off small. They might be selling individual stamps too, small groupings. Like I said, Stampscapes, it kind of caught my attention because they might list 5 stamps or something like that together, okay? And I looked at their other auctions, and there were a lot of other things, and there were like accessories that had just been released in the industry, or kind of the hottest kind of new items, and were listed for sale, completely unused, okay? So this went on for a while, and the thing that really got my attention and started me really wondering about what was going on was there were some new stamps that we had released, and not too many people had ordered them. Not too many stores, okay? Remember, at the time, it was mostly stores. Like 98% of my sales were wholesale, so we were just providing stores. But here's this product that we had, and the only place that we had sold it, I think, might have been at 1 or 2 conventions at the time. Because word hadn't gotten out or whatnot of these new stamps. It wasn't like, I didn't have the website at the time either, so, or maybe we did. I don't remember, but, I had wondered, how on earth did this person get these stamps? Okay, but I think we had sold them at 1 or 2 conventions, all right? Maybe 2. So I was thinking, okay, this person is going to the shows and buying and then just reselling them. And then I thought, this could be with the number of items that they had, I was thinking, all right, maybe this person might be one of those kind of convention thieves or whatever. These people, whenever there was some stealing at shows, they usually weren't crafters. They were just like kleptos or something like that. I don't know. I had kind of known a lot of things that were going on with the Carson convention because my old boss was the coordinator for that one. So the people that stole at those places, they weren't stampers. They were just, I don't know, people that were just, I don't know, addicted to theft. So that's what I started thinking, because of just the sheer number of items they were listing. They might have been listing 50 items or something like that, and they were all unopened, unused products. I'm talking about accessories, large packs of, I don't know, things like, for example, it might be like embossing powders, or, I don't know, what do you call those things? There were those pearlescent looking types of things that were really hot at the time. Something pearls or something like that. I can't remember, but I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this person's really kind of knowledgeable of all this stuff, and they really know kind of the most popular items, but they just had so much of it. So I was thinking someone's going around to the different booths at these shows and stealing it. So one of the things that I started to do was I knew some of the other manufacturers out there, just by talking to them at the different conventions. And I noticed this one person, so I'm not going to name any names or companies in this story here, but I contacted this one other manufacturer that I noticed had a product for sale on this eBay store or this listing. And they said, okay, they got back to me via email, and they said the only person that has bought that item from us wholesale, okay, was a certain store, and they said, and they know that store owner would never just buy it wholesale and then have this eBay store selling it for, auctioning it off. And I agreed because I knew the store owner as well, pretty well. And the name, so I did a little bit of research on the eBay seller, and in an early comment, they noted their name. They said, thanks, whoever, I don't remember their name, great item or something like that, thanks. And that name was not the name of the store owner either, okay? So I knew it wasn't them, even though I knew already, okay? So, I don't know, we were baffled, and I don't know, that just ended right there, okay? And I don't know, fast forward maybe another couple months or something like that, and there was escalation, okay? More and more items were being listed, big items too, high-ticket items, and I thought, oh my gosh, I think I saw an entire grouping of Stampscape stamps. And the thing is, it might have been, I don't know if it might have been like demo stamps or something like that we used to send out with new orders for those new products. I would send out stores, a grouping of like the entire line or release of new items. I don't know if I think that happened, I'm not sure. But, okay, there were a couple other large stamp items from two other manufacturers, okay? Now, I contacted both. I said, hey, your products are being sold by this one seller. I've been trying to figure out who they are, whatnot. I have no idea where they're getting the products from. Here's the link, to your product being sold by this individual. Okay, so I never heard back from, I don't think I heard back from one of those manufacturers. I might have heard back from the other one, I don't remember. Okay, but I didn't hear anything back via email this time. Fast forward maybe a month or two or something like that. Maybe it was even a few weeks, I don't remember. But I get an email from the store owner that I had talked about with that previous manufacturer that I notified of their item being listed. And this is when I found out everything, okay? This store owner writes to me and says, hey, Kevin, this other manufacturer that I later contacted, she said they contacted her, the store owner, because that one item that the eBay seller had listed had only been, again, purchased by this one store, okay? It just happened to be that way, so it was easy to track. So this one manufacturer contacted the store owner, and I don't know, they had the wherewithal to figure out to kind of not bring this up with probably whoever answers the phone at that store. I don't think they had their private number or something like that, or email address for the store owner. If you wanted to contact the owner, you had to kind of probably contact the store. So I'm guessing they had asked to Yeah, I want to speak to, the owner, have her call me back or something like that, okay? But what had happened, okay, they had kind of, I don't know, worked it out to discuss things with each other, I guess, privately. And this store owner logged on and checked out the items for sale by this eBay seller. And what they did was they did a little bit of investigation, and this store owner had her daughter, I think it was, that had a different last name and lived out of state or something like that, order one of the items, or what they did was they might have won an auction or something like that. I don't know if it was a buy it now type of thing or buy it for, one of the buy it now prices, or if it was an auction, okay? And the daughter of the owner then, in order to find out where these items were coming from, instead of just having the item shipped, she said, I want this to be, I think, insured, not insured, but maybe, I don't know what status you have to do in, I think, U.S. Post, I think it was. I don't think it was shipped to UPS or something like that. But it was where the item had to be, I think it was a signature release or something like that, okay? So the sender has to include, they couldn't just slap, a couple postage stamps on it with no return address or something like that. That person had to list their, I think, home address on the parcel that went out to the daughter of the store owner, okay? Okay, so when the daughter receives the item, she lets her mom know, okay, this is the address it came from. And that store owner, when they saw it, they thought, that looks kind of familiar, the address. So when they looked it up, as she put it in an email to me, I forgot what she said. She said when she saw that name that came up, you could hear a pin drop, or you could have knocked me over with a whatever, okay? I forgot what that saying is. It was her store manager that had been listing all of these items, okay? Now most managers for stores, they were usually the owner, okay? But this store happened to have, a full-time store manager. And it was that manager that had been stealing all these items, okay? But they had a security system with cameras in the store, and they probably did it. They probably had those going on because there was so much theft going on. There was so much extreme loss, and every time they would do inventory, all right? So they had a full security system, monitoring, hooked up to their computer, etc., okay? And, okay, so what this owner did was they installed, they had someone come out and install like the spyware on their own computer so they can track exactly what was happening. They might have even put up like, like a nanny cam somewhere else hidden in the store. In fact, I think they did. So they did all that. And what was happening was this store manager would come in the mornings and turn off the system for like 10 or 15 minutes or something like that. Now, this manager was probably the one that was in charge of all that, so they're the ones that can say, yeah, I looked over the security tapes and everything, and I just can't find anything. It's baffling. But they found out that they were turning off the system, and then there was probably some alternative, like spy cam going on, where they can see them taking out items during that time to their car. And here's the thing, too. They had become so emboldened, from not getting caught for over this long period of time that they were listing all their items even, and selling and conducting all their a lot of the eBay transactions and probably running mailing labels right on the store computer, all right from the store itself. So they noticed that, and I think they had the police come out when they got enough evidence. I don't think they pressed charges, though, on this individual. I don't know if this individual had to pay back, a lot of, damages and whatnot, which must have been pretty extreme. But I guess this had been going on for a long time. Or, well, they were aware of it because they do inventory, and just these extreme losses were coming up. And one of the things about this store was there's a convention that was held in their town a certain time of year, and they were just thinking, there's no way that they're experiencing this type of theft with their regulars. You know what I mean? Stampers are not going to be ripping off their own local store like that, okay? So they figured, okay, it must be when that convention's in town, there's a ton of out-of-towners coming in. Maybe that's when the loss is happening. There's tons of people in the store at the time. It's really hard to keep track of things. There were hundreds of stamps, getting stolen. And, stamps back then are wood mounted. You can't have people walking out with like 50, stamps or something. That's going to, they're walking out with 15, 20 pounds of product and large ticket items and things like that. And so that's what they just figured. That's what she wrote in an email. But I don't know, mystery solved and whatnot. But I don't know. They must have been just, stores don't make a large margin. There's just so many expenses that are involved, including the store manager, which was a full-time employee, okay? And I don't know, just the sheer amount of damage they had done was extreme, as was explained to me in that email, of course. And it was just a real shame, but I was kind of shocked to hear all this, and it relieved, I don't know, it ended my need to have to kind of do my, kind of, I don't know, armchair investigations, trying to figure things out. But that store manager's name was the name on that feedback. So, but I never thought about, I don't know the store, managers' names unless they were the ones that were always ordering, over the phone or something like that with me. So I didn't think to look into something like that when I had their name, like calling that store and saying, what's the name of the store manager? It never even occurred to me, okay, to do that. But I had the name early on. It probably could have been figured, if I had known that, it probably could have been resolved, I don't know, maybe even up to a year earlier than that. But I was just glad that it was resolved. That store owner, who was really important to all of the local stamping community in that entire area, and I don't know, she wouldn't be getting ripped off anymore like that. So it was just, I was glad that was done, but it was just such a shock. And I don't know, I felt really bad for her. And I think that they didn't press charges. I think the store manager had like a kid or something like that. They don't want this person to, I don't know what would happen, with something like embezzlement. It would go on their permanent record or something like that. I think with the sheer amount, I would think it was a felony, but they would have had to kind of track every sale probably, and to go back and, kind of cross-reference all of the inventory that had shown up as being missing. This store is pretty kind of up to date. I think they had everything on computer. They probably had barcodes and things like that. A lot of stores did not, so they wouldn't even be able to track something like that. Or it'd be harder to track, but I think they were on that status. So they could have probably pretty easily tracked all of these items and done something about it. But they, the store owner, they're stampers. Most store owners in this industry are stampers themselves, and you know how cool rubber stampers are. She just didn't have it in the heart to do that, to press charges and to, I don't know, have this person suffer, the consequences and whatnot. I don't think, they did, at least. And I seem to recall that, just, I don't know if they had to, repay certain things or whatnot, even if they had the money or whatever. But anyway, that was kind of the most bizarre kind of thing that I remember happening related to Stampscapes. Otherwise, I never would have known this was happening or whatever, and kind of looked into it. And I don't know. All in all, I think that was like it might have been a 2.5-year episode or something like that, from kind of the initial kind of awareness of this person selling like that to the escalation and eventual kind of resolve of it. So I was really thankful to this other manufacturer, though, that looked into it and had thought to contact them, and not tip off that manager, who's probably the one that kind of fielded all the kind of the inquiries and phone calls and things like that. So kind of mystery solved, and glad it was. And I don't know, I've always remembered that one just because of the sheer kind of magnitude of it, which isn't anything, gigantic on, in comparison to, other things. But I'm just talking about just from a stamping perspective and store. Okay, that was something that's very unusual in this community and industry and whatnot. Okay, so anyways, trimming of the watermelon large here is done. I don't know. I would say normally I follow up my videos by saying, okay, if you have any questions, drop me a note in the comment section, but there really isn't anything, for me to say, in regards to that one. I thought I would throw that story out there. It's not something you probably hear too often on a rubber stamping channel or whatnot, but I don't know. I thought I'd put it out there before I forgot it, because I have a bad memory and whatnot. So anyway, this won't be a regular type of format for my videos, because there's not a lot of stories to say out there. Most of the stories are something like, hey, this stamper stamped out 50 cards for charity or something like that, or they're sending cards to the Ukraine. You know what I mean? That's the type of stories that usually happen with stampers and in this community. So it's usually all good, or just an extremely high percentage of it. So I don't know, this one is definitely kind of an aberration to what is going on out there. Stampscape buy is ready to go for any orders received. And I should do something with this watermelon stamp right here. These are for inventory. I have ones already cut out and whatnot, but I'd like to do something like that with the fall foliage like that. So maybe I'll do this one. Maybe that's the thing I'll do. I'll stamp this one out. And I want to test out dye-based inks with embossing. If I can hit it fast enough, it'll get that clear embossing. But I need a paper that's going to not dry the dye-based inks as fast as what I used here in the matte. Okay, so anyways, thanks for watching, listening, etc. Hope you have a great rest of day or night or whatever time it is for you right now. Okay.